When powerful names meet closed files, promises are made that never see daylight. In today's testimony, we hit the part where no new actions were hinted and key records were sealed. We'll keep it precise, what was actually said and what was avoided, and where the story doesn't add up. And if you're new here, this is part 5 of the official Interview DoJ series. Part 1 to 4 are already in a playlist. I recommend watching those first for all the context. So listen closely, and remember, the goal ain't is outrage, it's awareness and clarity. And with that being said, all I will comment, welcome back to Deep Talk Society. My name's Daniel and today we're diving straight right into part 5 out of 6. And as always, I'm trying to trick the algorithm, that's why I talk for like the first 2 or 3 minutes. It's a kind of test for me to see if the video gets blacklisted or not. Please guys, it's such an important thing to like the video. I usually don't ask for likes, but these topics are so important. And to get those videos out, we gotta like, we gotta comment, share and engage with those videos. So thank you so much. If you don't have time for a long comment or for timestamps, fair enough, everything's okay. But please leave an emoji or leave like a self-push algo comment or just algo comment. It takes like 1 more second and helps out a lot. And yeah, guys. After this series, we're diving in all the lies of part 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. And yeah, guys, I know a lot about these topics. I know some things that you probably don't know, or if you don't follow me on the channel, you probably never knew. It's not like a deep dive like Whitney Webb's doing. She's a hero. I love her. So much love goes out to her, manifesting all the best for her and her loved ones. And yeah, like I already told you, it's a community effort. It's not just mine, not just yours, not just hers, but it's our all effort. And I know that we're able to do so many awesome things. We're already doing it. And yeah, guys, I love you so much. And when you're a survivor of this stuff, please viewer discretion or listener discretion is advised. I'm a survivor myself and I know these topics can hurt your soul, but please, if those hurt your soul, click off. Don't torture yourself any longer. But if you want to spread awareness, if you want to help us giving some, well, clarity about all those things, please go ahead, share your story. You can always share your story anonymously when you're like, hey, I want to talk about it, but I don't want people to know that's me. No problem. I respect every privacy. Your or everyone's privacy is on top of everything else. So yeah, if you want to share your story or want me to share your story, you can do it via Discord. And the Discord link is already in the description, in the link tree. So please check out the link tree. And yeah, enough said, guys. Let's go straight into the video.
Hey, did you ever meet Secretary Clinton, Hillary Clinton?
Yes.
When did you meet her?
I want to say, again, please don't hold me to it, but I want to say that it was on a flight that came from the island, from the Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard back to New York, is what I think. I might be wrong.
Okay, so an East Coast island like Nantucket or something like this.
The ex-president never came to the island.
And is that the only time that you met Hillary Clinton?
No. I went to the house in Chappaqua a few times.
And why did you go to the house?
I was invited.
Just to see President Clinton or Hillary Clinton or both, or?
Instead. Yeah. I mean, as a friend, not for. I don't remember any reason. Either was somehow I communicated that was in driving back past Chappaqua if they were home, I'd stop in. I know it sounds a little flippant, but it could have been even something as.
And do you know whether Mr. Epstein knew or had any sort of business dealings or associated with Hillary Clinton?
I would say no.
Did you ever see them together?
No.
Do you know whether Mr. Epstein ever did any business transactions with the Clintons?
Well, I'm not sure I'm not sure how to quite, I don't know the answer to that strictly, because I was part of the beginning process of the Clinton Global Initiative. And that was something that I helped with, and that was me. And Epstein may have helped me help him. And in that context, he may well have involved himself, but only in the context of something that I was trying to do.
So when you say involved himself, actually, meaning like give money to the Clinton Global Initiative or something like this?
Well, so there's that. I think he did do that, and that I believe the money that he may have given could have been independent of me. But I think it's just easier if I just tell you how it happened, rather than, because otherwise it sounds all odd and funky. I went to Davos with the former president, and have you been to Davos?
In what?
Have you been to Davos?
I have not.
Okay, well, you know you know what it is, right? Okay, so, and I thought that the former president should have his own Davos, because it would be, and it turned out that they had been thinking about it anyway, and so we were talking about it, and, it's a very heavy lift to get something like that to go. And I was friendly with one of the people who had, I don't know if he was at the beginning of Davos, but he was running Davos. So it was just, I don't know how to describe his actual role at Davos. And I had conversations with him about what did he think, just because I was having dinner with him about if Clinton could get something like that to go, what was his thoughts? And he was very, very enthusiastic. I mean, he was like, that's just an incredible idea. So I put them together.
What's that person's name? Do you want to ask?
And you're good.
Okay.
I can.
And you said, I didn't know if you knew if you remember his name.
I do, but I just
can't remember his name. Okay.
It will come to me. It may come to me tomorrow, but eventually these things surface. Like in the middle of the night, I was scribbling names that I couldn't remember from yesterday.
Okay.
But his name will come to me, and if not, we can find it.
So you, just still staying on your relationship with, your association with the Clintons. You were part of the ramp up or the startup of the Clinton Global Initiative and helping them and supporting that effort.
I would say very, very central to that. Yes.
And Mr. Epstein, was he part of the work around that, or just in support of you?
He supported me to help them, but then I think he may have tried to use that to insert himself in some way. That would not have surprised me at all. And I know that he was annoying in terms of I could catch him on the phone and he wouldn't always agree with what I wanted to do. And I was like, it's not your idea. I don't really care what you think. But that didn't go over so well.
And
I just want to say it wasn't my idea for his CGI.
It wasn't. Say it again?
It's not my idea. They had that idea before. I just helped bring key personnel.
You're saying the idea of President Clinton kind of having his own.
I'm not owning. I didn't. That's not.
Understood.
Okay, no. I don't try to elevate myself in any form of importance. Yeah.
No, understand.
Okay.
Did you go to Davos with President Clinton more than once, or just once?
I can't remember. Once for sure, and I think maybe twice, but I don't remember.
And you're not, I think you said you're not aware of President Clinton ever going to the island.
He absolutely never went, and I can be sure of that, because there's no way he would have gone. I don't believe there's any way that he would have gone to the island had I not been there, because I don't believe he had an independent friendship, if you will, with Epstein. Did they speak? Did he go? Yes, but that's very different from going to spend time on night. And plus, the story as told is so patently absurd that I flew him in the helicopter. I am a helicopter pilot, that is true. But the notion of me flying an ex-president on a machine would terrify me. I would never even take that responsibility. Can you imagine? Yeah, no, I'm not. No.
Did you ever go with President Clinton to any of Mr. Epstein's properties? Out of New Mexico, Palm Beach or in New York?
I have no memory of him in any of those places.
When you were in London with President Clinton, did you ever go to your flat with him?
I don't think he did. I don't think so, because he wouldn't even be able to carry on a Secret Service with him. I don't think so. No.
Okay. Do you know? We talked a little about the Duchess of York, about Sarah Ferguson yesterday. When's the last time you saw her? Like, were you with her, hang out with her, socializing with her in the 90s, 2000s, both?
She's
No.
rather. I don't know if she liked me very much. I think my friendship with her ex-husband, sometimes she really did like me, and sometimes she didn't. So maybe a friend of me? I don't know. It was always friendly when we were together, but I think that there was some latent hostility. And
Is that something you've heard since everything came out, or along the way you felt that way?
No, that's how I felt. That is a characterization of myself. That's how I felt about it. I would never. I was always friendly with her. I've seen her many times, and she's also super close with other people I'm very good friends with in England. I think that she liked Mr. Epstein. Right.
Why do you think that?
My female intuition.
Okay.
Yes.
Just country. That's it.
Oh, well, I don't remember it. Well,
It's okay.
okay, I don't. It's possible that there's things. Well, I know it's not possible. I know that there is discovery, but I don't recall. But I think she had a thing.
Let's see. There's some actors or some folks from Hollywood that I want to ask you about, just to understand whether you knew them or Mr. Epstein knew them. Chris Tucker?
Yes.
How did you know Mr. Tucker?
I think only from that flight to Africa, but I do think that they met.
You say that flight to Africa, the one we were just talking about?
Yes.
President Clinton. So,
Yes.
okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Yep.
But I also think that they kept a little bit in touch, and I think they met, or I have a memory of him, maybe in LA. I don't know. I think they sort of loosely stayed in touch. I don't know. I don't know how to say that.
Do you know Mr. Tucker besides that flight?
No.
And do you know whether, when you say you think that they kept in touch, you mean you think that Mr. Epstein and Mr. Tucker?
They may have. I didn't, but he might have. I'm sure.
Kevin Spacey?
I know him also from that same flight.
Aside from that flight, do you know him from any other thing?
No.
Naomi Campbell?
Yes, I do know Naomi. And I knew her before I met Mr. Epstein and the former President Clinton.
Do you know whether Mr. Epstein separately knew Ms. Campbell?
I think he probably met her through me. That, I imagine.
And so, for those three, Mr. Tucker, Mr. Spacey, and Ms. Campbell, did they ever travel to any of Mr. Epstein's properties, the island or New Mexico?
Not Mr. Tucker, well, not to my knowledge, Mr. Tucker or Mr. Spacey. Naomi Campbell may have.
To where?
She may have gone, I believe she visited him in Palm Beach, and I believe she may have gone to the island, and she may have gone to see his house in New York. Whether she went to New Mexico or Paris as well, maybe. They were friends, or friendly.
Were you, what you just said she may have, were you on those trips?
I don't have any independent memory of that, so I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Do you know?
Her relationship, her friendship, you're making me use your word. her friendship, whatever, with Mr. Epstein was independent of me.
Okay, but you also had a separate friendship with her.
I did.
Before you met Mr. Epstein.
I did.
Okay. Larry Summers, the former Secretary of the Treasury. Did you know that person?
I did. Yes.
How?
I met Mr. Summers through Mr. Epstein.
And the same question, just generally time period. Are you talking about early 2000s, 90s, after that?
I honestly really don't know. I did want to say something I forgot. That there was yesterday, you asked me about Mr. Epstein's properties. He had a rental in Boston as well, but not for very long, but it was another place that I had to put together. And I only went with him once, and he would go there independently of me. No, I would not go with him.
Was that in the 90s?
I think it was, yes.
Mr. Summers, do you know what his relationship was with Mr. Epstein, business, personal, both, or don't you know?
I think he spoke to Mr. Epstein about business a lot, but I think they were friends and friendly.
Do you know whether Mr. Summers ever traveled on Mr. Epstein's planes to any of the properties that Mr. Epstein owned?
He may have, but I don't think if he did, I was on any of the flights. I mean, there's other issues. I mean, I traveled so much that the flights just blur.
Understand. George Soros?
I don't think he knew him. I did, but I don't think he did.
How did you know Mr. Soros?
I was friends with his kids.
Which kids?
John. And, let's see. I can't think of his other child. I can't think. I've lost his name.
Liz.
Who? So I met him, but just socially, and he may not remember that even having met me, I was excited to meet him.
When are you thinking, when would you have met him?
If I met him, I think it was either at an event or at his kids', it would have been at his house. An event, I think actually no, in the Hamptons I met him. He was staying at somebody's house, if my memory serves.
And what was your relationship? How did you know his kids?
I was out and about in New York a lot.
So just socially?
Just socially, yes. And, yeah, just socially, I think.
Do you know whether Mr. Soros or his kids ever traveled on Mr. Epstein's planes?
I don't think so.
And ever visit either the island or New Mexico? Or
no, I don't think
Paris?
So.
No.
So
we tried to identify names that have come up either publicly or in other lawsuits. Are there any names that come to mind that we've talked about a lot of names. Are there some folks that you think we've forgotten to ask you about?
Well, you asked me about names, and I have some names, and I just want to give you some context for the names
Sure.
as well. So we talked about Elizabeth Johnson yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
She had a boyfriend, and he was Frederick Fekkai, the hairdresser, and he and Epstein were friendly, very friendly. Very good.
And then what time period are you talking about?
Cool.
Like 90s or 2000s or both?
I think the 2000s, actually, for that. You can date that because from when I think he probably knew Frederick before he dated Elizabeth, but... And
when you say they were very friendly, did they travel together?
I don't know if they traveled together, but Epstein didn't go out very much. He did go out, but not. And sometimes if he did, I think he would go out and maybe see Frederick. And then there was, he had a bunch of guys that I would know that he would see or meet, but he really, I guess now not so. He had friends, I don't know, but.
Okay, what other names?
Okay, so Henry Jarecki, who had an island near his. Henry was a financier. He was the guy who cornered the silver market back in the day.
He had an island in the Caribbean near
in the
Australia.
British Virgin Islands.
Okay.
And there was Branson's Island there. Now, I know that there's an allegation that they met. So I think I remember that I went to Richard Branson's Island with Mr. Epstein, and maybe he went another time, but I wouldn't characterize Richard Branson and him as friends, but he did go, and I think I went with him.
Do you know whether Mr. Branson ever came to Mr. Epstein's island?
If he did, I was not there.
Okay. Okay.
So, but it's possible. So
Understood.
I wanted to.
Who else?
Marvin Minsky. He had a group of scientists that he was very, very friendly with, all centered around Harvard. So I remember him, Martin Novak, who's a mathematician, Stephen Jay Gould. I don't know if Stephen Jay Gould came through that Harvard angle, but I know that Epstein would have dinners at the house that I was tasked to organize. And the scientists were a very major component of that. They weren't social dinners as much as they were scientific. He would discuss. But if you were in the area of brain cognition, or he would invite them to the house, and they would come, all of them. Any name you can name, they would be there.
So let's talk about that. Those associations or relationships he had with the mathematicians and with Harvard, and I think with MIT to some extent.
For sure, MIT too.
What, from what you observed, what's the reason behind him having developing those ties with Harvard, with MIT, and with certain professors and others associated with those institutions?
He really was profoundly interested in that area of science and in the brain, and if you're in Stephen Jay Gould or the major scientist on happiness, it came, I believe, from a genuine area of interest, not from anything.
And how did he become friends with them? How was he able to spend time with them? Meaning, did he donate to the university and then they were it was mandatory fun for them, or did he have relations with them where he would,
I don't know
host them? Or
I don't know
what?
if the chicken or the egg came first.
Okay.
But when I met him first, he was already doing a lot of this stuff. This is not, I've read, so this is why I'm saying this. I was not responsible for this area of interest. I certainly, sorry, just to bounce a second before it slips my mind and I leave something out. There was an institute in New Mexico called, anyone? The Institute of, it's very famous. We're not talking about Alamos. Anyway, all right, there's a very famous institute in New Mexico. You can look it up. It'll come to you the minute you put it in your computer. And there had some of the biggest brains ever. That relationship came through me. So that's me. And that is because my father was one of the major scientific, hit up my family fortune, when I had one, came from scientific publishing. And when it started from the thing that you were asking me yesterday, my father was in the Second World War, I told you, and he won the Military Cross, and then he actually was part of intelligence back in the war, and his job was to interrogate German scientists, prisoners of war. And then that parlayed into business with Springer Verlag, and then into Pergamon Press, which was the scientific journals business. And he had an interest. He believed that its knowledge is what would prevent war. And the biggest scientific discoveries, well, not all of them, but many of them are coming from the Eastern Bloc. And that's how we have the relationship with Santa Fe Institute and Murray Gell-Mann specifically. And I introduced Epstein to Murray Gell-Mann. Sorry.
This is the Santa Fe Institute?
Yes, thank you. and Murray Gell-Mann was there, and Murray Gell-Mann and Epstein got along very, very well. And he was a man of the law.
So do you know whether, so when you meet Mr. Epstein in the early 90s, continuing on, so not what he had done before, did he...
Yeah, full.
Why do you think, from what you saw or what you heard, he had the relationship or wanted to have the relationships that he had with Harvard and with MIT?
So I think that may have come with Wexner. I'm not sure, but that's something that I think that Wexner maybe had a relationship with Harvard, and that he used that relationship to, I believe he funded a lot. And if he didn't, that his clients, of which Wexner obviously was one, would fund, and he would then arrange the fund or organize the fund or...
We'll take a break in a minute, but just to kind of set us up for what we're going to talk about next. We talked yesterday morning about Mr. Epstein's kind of business and how he had money. Did he seem to live beyond his means as far as what he was making? So did you ever get the sense while you were with him that it was suspicious or curious how he was able to have the funds to buy 2 planes, an island, New Mexico, the ranch, almost unlimited funds?
You said it perfectly. I thought it was astonishing, but I didn't have any reason to believe that it came from anything nefarious. I saw him work. I never saw him really do anything other than be on the phone. There's that. And he had a lot of meetings, but he had a lot of accounts. And he dealt with pretty much every financier that you could care to mention. And if I could have access to the names, I'd be able to tell you which ones. I just don't remember them all. But in every bank, Goldman, Lehman, all of them. To my mind, anyway. And most of the major businessmen at that time, he was in the Council of Foreign Relations. So you had access, that's an extraordinary list of people. It just is. And then you asked me about his dad. So I thought about it last night, how to try and explain what it was. And I think the best thing is to focus only on Wexner's business. So I was present for some of their meetings in some of their business. And I listened. And so things that I personally recollect, and I know I heard, was that he would, when I told you yesterday, I think, that he would, no detail was too small, so he would do the contracts with the staff, I think. And I saw that myself. And he also organized all the trusts for all the children. So if Wexner had kids, and if he did have children. So every time there was a child, he would create a trust for that child. And these are complex financial structures that would contain stocks of the various businesses. He restructured, when I was there, Wexner's business in its entirety, as I recollect. And then not only that, but there were business interests. So Wexner owned or built or designed, or I don't quite know how to characterize it, but New Albany, which is a center outside of Ohio, Columbus, Ohio specifically. And he built, I remember this conversation, he built himself a very large house, like truly enormous. It's one of the biggest private homes I've ever been to. And he built all the houses around him, and I'm like, so random, why would you do that? And he said to me, well, because I want to make sure that the people around me are my friends, I want my friends around me and my neighbors. And I was like, well, whatever, okay. I've been around enormous wealth my whole life, and I've like, at some point I'm just like, okay, whatever, I get it. And so that's what he did. But Epstein ran New Albany, which included a country club and a golf club and I mean, gosh, your boss is one of the all-time great, businessmen in this area. You know what that is, and he certainly does. So there'd be that, and there was a business that Epstein, well, he told me he owned it. I can't say that for sure, because I don't know, but it's a sports thing. Riddell, is that a business? Riddell's. I thought about it last night. It's red. They have hats, helmets.
So it's
Riddell's. Riddell. Yeah, Riddell's.
okay.
Now, how he owned that, or he told me he owned it, but how he owned that, but that was before I think I came in and he had it, or he said he did.
Got it.
And he had other businesses. I know this notion that he did nothing and he just was a grifter and whatnot. Okay, I'm not going to say that's not true, but it's not what I saw and it's not what I believe is true. Not because it couldn't have been that he didn't grift or whatever the word is of people, but I saw where I thought looked like real work.
Well, why don't we take a break? Yeah.
Thanks. All right, the time is now 10:35, and we'll take a break. We are resuming from break. The time is 10:49 on Friday, July 25th.
Well done. All right.
What begins?
So we've talked around this issue, but talked about it a little bit. I want to spend the next hour or so, or however long it takes. I want to focus kind of exclusively on Epstein and like his criminal conduct with respect to women. Do you? You said yesterday a couple times that like you now kind of recognize or think that there was things that he did that you didn't know about and that he kept from you or that you didn't see. What did you see? So you said yesterday, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, that at some point he was getting massages 7 days a week, sometimes multiple massages a day. But women have said that were there, that say that were there giving him massages, said that those included some sort of sexual conduct, however you define that in the broadest sense, not just a traditional massage regularly. So what did you see and hear at the time? And then I think, aside from what you saw and heard at the time, now that you've been through what you've been through and heard people say what they've said and read what they've read, where does that leave you in your mind with what happened?
Okay, so I saw Epstein with women. What I mean by that is he would have women around him, or women on the plane, or women in his house, or that's how I'm explaining that. Those women were very interested. What my characterization of the relationships between all women that I saw with him and him was characterized by their interest in him as I would see it. And by that I mean I never saw anybody who didn't want to be with him, maybe socially or whatever. I never saw anybody not under any form of duress in any type of situation where they were, as I would characterize it, looking uncomfortable or in any way distressed. In the entire time I was with him, or traveled with him, I never saw that. So any time I saw anybody with him, they were happy to be with him. He would ask people all the time, whoever you were, to massage his feet. It just was, he'd be sitting there and he'd have somebody massage his feet or squeeze his shoulders, or I saw that a lot. It was an ubiquitous interaction, if you will. So I did see that. I saw physicality, but not anything that was I don't know how to characterize it, anything that looked aggressive, I suppose, to define that. So I never saw an aggressive move. I never saw anything that was
non-consensual.
well, thank you. Okay. I never saw anything that was non-consensual. So if he, well, maybe they didn't. I never saw anything that looked like they didn't like the hug, or I never saw what I would characterize as anything that was unconsensual.
Did you see him either receiving or participating in sexual conduct during massages? Understanding you never saw something non-consensual, did you see him engage in sexual conduct during massages?
Well, you could define sexual conduct as in, I did see women who could have been, less than normally clad for a massage, but especially on the island where they would be in a bikini or possibly even topless. Yeah, I did see that. So you would.
So what about yes, I agree. That's one area. So women who were either not clothed or topless with just the bottom on. But beyond that, did you see as part of that him touching them? And again, I'm not talking about consent or not consent or age or, I'm saying there's multiple, dozens and dozens of women who have said that they engaged in sexual contact, and I agree there's a broad range of how that can be defined, but defining it in the broadest of terms.
So he was being physical with women. I did see that, but nothing that was not consensual. And to address the issue of the large number of women who today say that he was non-consensual or coercive with them, I'm not sure. In my mind, I sort of have to characterize the two distinct areas. There's one where is the women who are not of age, therefore anything with them is immediately unconsensual.
Correct.
So let's start. I don't want to define anyone who's underage versus anybody who's overage, because I do think that there's a very significant differential between the two.
Well, so does the law. Yeah.
Yes, okay, so I don't mean that.
I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to deal with the thing which is really why we're here. I mean, not that I'm not going to deal with the other, but I just want to make a distinction with underage situation, because there's nothing about that that's right. I never saw anything with anybody who was certainly, to be categorical from my trial. Let's deal with that, because that's something that I can say I never saw that with them at all. And I would say that as described anyway in my trial did not happen as described. I'm not saying that Mr. Epstein did not do those things. I'm not casting those, I don't feel comfortable saying that today given what I now know to be true. So I'm not here to defend him. But what I can say is that I did not participate in that activity. And
so let's divide this into two areas. Maybe there's more, but we'll start with two areas. One is there was testimony, and there's certainly been depositions and public statements that some of these young women had conversations with you about their age. So, for example, conversations about the fact that they were in high school, or conversations about the fact that they wanted to go to college one day, which would necessarily mean, not necessarily, but would be more likely to mean that they were in high school to talk to you about that. And so, were there women that you knew were underage? And I say that because that's different than whether they were sexually abused in any way by Mr. Epstein, just merely their age and going to give him a massage.
No, I never knew that, and I can categorically state that had any child said to me that they were 14, 15, 16, maybe not 17, because 17 in England, if someone had said that was 17, I've read so much that did happen. I would never have committed such a thing. I don't even know what I would have done.
So some of the I think even someone who testified at trial, but certainly publicly talked about, was as young as 14 when she was introduced to Mr. Epstein. In your mind today, you don't. You kind of reject that happened, that you saw that, meaning you don't recall any obviously under 18 woman coming to give him a massage.
Well, I believe you're talking about Jane, and I'm very happy to address that. I actually don't think that the testimony is correct. I don't believe.
Yeah. Look,
no, I'm not. I just wanted to.
I don't want to get into.
No. I'm not. No, absolutely not. I don't want to go there. I'm not going to do that. But I believe that what took place with a lot of these people is that there was a slide, right? So there was a zone, and he did meet her, and I did meet her, and I knew that she was a young child. I knew that she was not an adult, but I don't believe he met her till she was 16. So I'm not doing a he said, she said. I'm not doing that, because that's not what we're here for. But he didn't meet her till she was 16. And the entire testimony of the 14, 15, and 16-year-old is therefore not accurate.
Yeah.
Did I meet her when she was 16 with her mother? I absolutely did. And did I know that she was young? I absolutely did. But everything that took place that was alleged at trial at the 14 and 15 and 16 is not accurate. And
there's testimony, or and again, I'm using testimony in the broadest sense. Some of this is just public statements or something that's come out in civil lawsuits about you and Mr. Epstein giving like you're turning 18 birthday card to somebody, which again, if true, would by definition mean you knew that she was under 18. Do you recall doing that?
I do not. I mean, no memory of that at all. And I believe that would be the person that called herself Kate has now announced herself. It's in her own podcast who she really is. Her name is. So I did not meet until actually she was either 20 or 21. So it would be very hard for me to have given her an 18 birthday card. And the testimony is also that slid back.
Do you accept that at some point, and we talked about this yesterday about how Mr. Epstein changed, but at some point, Mr. Epstein definitely preferred younger women?
I accept.
And I think you said yesterday, but say it again since we're talking about it. Is that something that you, in your mind, one of the areas where he changed from when you first met him until later?
So I just also want to be clear, I never understood that change to encompass children. I did see from when I met him, he was involved or friends with, or whatever, however you want to characterize it, with women who were in their 20s. And then the slide to 18 or younger looking women. But I never considered that this would encompass criminal behavior. It ever.
And so when you read, I guess 2 different times, right? One was during the Florida investigation when there were eventually public statements from some of these now women who testified about what they did with Mr. Epstein when they were under 18. At that point, did you realize, or did you think to yourself, this happened, or this could have happened, I missed it, or were you at that point still in the mindset that they were either not telling the truth or were not remembering what happened the way that accurately?
That's a very fair question. So I think that my view of this at that time, call it as contemporaneously as it did, because I don't think that stuff came out in public, right? I mean, I may have read things, but I don't. My first real memory of that is at the trial. But my viewpoint, if you will, was set from the minute that lied in her civil deposition. And I could never recover from that because
which lie? What are you referring to?
Her entire characterization
Okay.
of. Now, I don't remember how she came or whether I did.
I see.
But I'm talking about the first time she came to Epstein's house, which I knew to be false. So from that first lie of that description, I could never recover.
I understand. Okay. So, really?
And that tainted, sorry, just so that we're clear, it tainted then the testimony of everybody else that I saw that came post that, because I had my own personal experience, which I knew to be false.
Yeah. And the reason why I think, and I said to Mr. Marcus that this morning that we were going to talk about this, because when I think about you and the public's perception of Mr. Epstein, the public is left with the view that nobody in the world knows what really happened except for you. Okay? Now, you've explained the last day and a half how some of that's just a misperception because you didn't have a key to his house. You weren't around as much as maybe everybody claims you were. Okay? But there still is this perception out there that, oh my gosh, if we could talk to Miss Maxwell, we would know how horrible Mr. Epstein was, or how misperceived he was, whatever the truth is about Mr. Epstein. And the challenge in my mind, I told you I would tell you when I had issues, and the challenge in my mind is that so many women have said that Mr. Epstein sexually assaulted them, whether juveniles or adults, that I don't find it, that's persuasive, right? That happened.
Okay, so.
And so if that's persuasive, then, and I think it's beyond contestation that he preferred younger women, and it's also beyond, I think, at this point, there were certainly circumstances that underage women, well, I don't want to say that you agree with me on that. I certainly believe that there were younger age women that were abused by him. So the layer that I really want to have a frank discussion about is some of these women have said, oh yes, Ms. Maxwell was there, to varying degrees. She saw me there, the door was open when I was there, and then much more egregious, right, that you participated and that you were part of it. And so what I really want you to have an opportunity to say to us is where on the spectrum the truth is, whether it's somewhere in the middle, whether it's one extreme or another extreme. Understanding, in my mind, I'm talking about 1994, 5 to whenever, late 90s, early 2000s.
And let me just interrupt, and all I would say is we're not here to say anything one way or the other about Epstein. I agree with you that the evidence is overwhelming against him, and he's his own person and has to deal with that. But Ghislaine can speak about what she knows,
yes,
and from her point of view and what she did, and that's what you can talk about, Ghislaine.
Okay. So I think it's helpful to put this on the time, on the calendar, because I think without that, we're lost. So I would say we'll go from the beginning. 91, no. 2, no. 3, no. 4, no. 5, no. 6. Now, in that time frame, you have the allegations of Jane, who I dispute. I don't think you met her till she was...
Let's not talk about individuals.
Oh, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but there's only, so in that time period, I'm only aware of her. I'm aware of a girl who said, but... And those, I don't know of any others, and if there are other people who are making allegations about, I'm not actually aware of them. I may have read them but I don't know. So I think in the early 90s period, I think I'm fairly confident, and I can say that at least as characterized, it's just false. It didn't happen as said. Now, did it happen? Did he involve himself? I knew about Jane because I saw her come to the house, but I saw her with her mother. I know that her allegations are that there were orgies, for instance, but the people that she suggests were in her orgies didn't even work for Epstein until 98 or 99. Did he do orgies with those people and her? I don't know anybody who was there who said that they did. I certainly didn't see it, so I can't say that happened. Did she do it with someone else? I don't know. The stories really start, the allegations really begin with, and I think that you have to shift his behavior, such as it was. There was one in California who made an allegation. There was a woman who said that I didn't know about. So I think I would call her the first person I'd be aware of him using his position to...
Sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to... I don't want to have you... I don't think it's helpful for us to have you kind of address each allegation.
Okay.
I want you to clear your mind and just tell the truth about it. So I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. I'm saying just putting aside what other people have said or what their lawyers have said or what they testified to or, the rumors in the press, push those aside. You were there. And so when you go back to that time period, 92, 93, 99, 2000, 2001, during that time period, what did you see when it comes to young women and massages?
All right, so I saw him receive massages. He had regular masseuses in the 90s, people who were standard and who traveled with him, and I saw that. He was living in that Iranian house, and now that I look back, I didn't stay there, but I would go to manage the house. I would see women, models, or people that he would have come to the house. I know that I thought that he was with Eva still at that time. That's what I believed. And then subsequently believed that even though she married him, I actually subsequently believed that the baby that she had was his.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah, of course.
Can I just ask some basic top-line questions?
Yes.
Were you ever in a massage room with him and a masseuse?
Yes.
Okay. When was that?
Well, he would come in sometimes and he would say, give her a massage here, or he would grab my, but not often. I mean, he did come in from time to time.
Were you ever in a massage room with him with a masseuse that was naked or giving him any sexual favors?
I never saw that. That I remember.
Okay. Did any of the masseuses ever discuss with you giving that they gave sexual favors to Epstein?
No.
Did you ever see an underage girl go into a massage room with Mr. Epstein?
No.
If you had seen that, what would you have done? Would you have left?
I can't even conceive. I can't even conceive of. I can't imagine what I would have done.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Did you ever observe Mr. Epstein masturbating during massage?
Yes. I mean, when I'd seen him on a massage table, I had seen him masturbate. I don't know if there was a masseuse present, but I've seen him on a massage table.
Okay.
Sorry, I just...
Did you ever see him masturbate with a masseuse, with a naked woman, either giving a massage or reporting to give a massage?
I don't remember seeing that.
Did you give him massages, by the way? I mean, there's a photo of you rubbing his feet, and I think... I certainly have been in the massage room with him, and I have certainly rubbed his feet and when he would talk, but I was not a masseuse, and I didn't perform massage on him. Did you, over the years, did you pay the masseuses?
It was typically not my job, but if there was nobody else, normally, so in Palm Beach, the houseman would give the money, and in New York, he would do that because I wouldn't be in New York when I don't remember ever paying a masseuse in New York.
So it wasn't your job
No.
on a regular basis to pay the masseuses. So if there was a masseuse 7 days a week, it wasn't expected that 7 days a week you would be the one handing them money.
Mostly I would not. I'm not saying I never did it because that wouldn't be true, but it was not my job to pay him. I mostly recall he would either pay them himself, he would have money, or the houseman.
Yes, good.
And I think some of them would have probably received checks.
Sir.
And so just picking up on what Mr. Marcus was just asking you, did you participate in sexual activity with him with a masseuse, like at the same time?
No.
And so the testimony, I don't know if there was testimony, but the women who have said that happened, categorically that's not true.
That is categorically not true.
Did you,
Moving
moving past the, and moving into the 2000s,
I mean, I just want to say that
Yeah,
I remember there'd be times when he'd be getting a massage and I would be in the room, I could be on his feet and somebody else could be on his feet and we could be talking. So there is that.
but that's not, you're not talking about something that's sexual, you're talking about literally just rubbing his feet.
Yes,
Okay.
but I mean...
But that's not what I'm talking about.
No,
I'm
okay, well,
saying,
they could be, sometimes the women might be topless who were giving that, so you could say that was sexual in that context.
no, I'm talking about the repeated reports of certain sex acts happening with you present and even participating.
No.
Did you, in the 2000s time period, so moving a little more recently, when you talked about it yesterday about how your relationship with Mr. Epstein changed and was changing, and you ultimately met somebody else, did you observe any massages or young women giving him massages later on, so after 2000, 2001 time period?
I'm sure I did.
And was there anything different about what you observed during that period and the 90s as far as frequency, his conduct towards them?
I think the frequency increased. I think he went from 1 to 2 in that time period. But I did not see, I have no recollection of ever seeing a child entering the house and giving him a massage. At that time, he had moved me out of the main house. I had moved into an office with John Alessi, the former black, under the stairs. So I had an office where I would be that was not part of the house. If I saw people, and I'm not saying I didn't see people come to give a massage, that wouldn't be true either, but if I saw someone, let's say, I don't remember ever seeing anybody that I would characterize as a child, no. Specifically, someone who accused me of seeing her. At the time when she came, if I did see her, and I don't believe I did see her or meet her at all, but if she did, she was, as she's described herself now, was very mature and looked in her 20s. So could somebody have come that was more mature looking than the allegation?
So here we are, a testimony full of contradictions, mentions of no new actions, files that are sealed. But if truth is really clean, why so many shadows? Two quick asks. Which part felt least credible to you? And by least credible, I mean the most major BS you've heard in this whole interview. And the no charges hint or the sealed records angle. Oh boy. But second question is, why should we examine deeper into the full analysis after part 6? Is there a special section of the video or of these videos that you want me to cover? Please let me know. If you have any other stuff, any other topics that you want me to deep dive in, please also let me know. Guys, I'm manifesting all the best for you. I love you so much. Manifesting also the best for your loved ones. And yeah, guys, if you want me to do these videos with the intro and outro with face, so please let me know. I kind of try to, well, I'm not concealing my identity. I already have other channels, so you know what I look like. But yeah, next up, part 6, dive straight into the names, travel records, and the pattern behind these promises. I'll keep it straight. See you in part 6. Love you all. manifesting all the best for you and your loved ones. And remember, all we do is for a better tomorrow.